Today's video I'm going to talk about why we chose a Northern Lite camper for the camper that we're going to live in and boondock in full time. So we chose the Northern Lite for a few different reasons. First of all, we were looking for a truck camper. We wanted a truck camper because they're not super huge. They fit right in your bed like a topper. And actually, we don't even have to like have a title for this. This is like a bonus. We didn't know about this ahead of time, but we bought it, and you don't do like a normal vehicle title when you go to like the DMV. You just have like a certificate. So that means you don't have to have tabs on it. So we just do all that stuff for our truck, which I wish we didn't even have to do. I hate the freaking government, but that's a whole nother video, which I probably wouldn't make because then it's on the internet and everyone's gonna see it. Whatever, keep it at that. So you don't have to have a title and tabs, and we do have insurance on it because we do have a loan on it, but once that's done, I'll probably take it off. But yeah, so it's a smaller thing, and if we're boondocking full time, we were thinking, you know, we don't want to draw attention to ourselves. We don't want cops knocking at our door, because I've seen like a lot of other YouTube people that boondock, and you hear all these horror stories, cops knocking at their door in the middle of the night, or, you know, a lot of different things, people trying to break in or whatever. But so we didn't want any like hassle. We didn't want to stick out because it's right in front of me. That's why I keep looking up at it. But it doesn't look like a family's living in it. It kind of just looks like a big topper. So yeah, and most of the time we're on my husband's nights off of work, we're usually staying at like a Walmart or a Cabela's in the parking lot. But when my husband is at work, since he's back at his railroad job, we just stay in the parking lot, and we've been doing that since like the end of January when we bought it. So if we had some big Class A or some fifth wheel, it would look kind of odd, and it would take up like the whole parking lot, and it would be like, dude, you can't park that here. But since it's connected to his truck and we just drive to work, they're not gonna say anything like, dude, you can't leave your camper in the parking lot. Well, dude, is connected to my truck. Like, so there's no way people are gonna say it's not allowed in certain places. If you're careful about it too, you can fit the whole rig in one like a normal parking spot too. That's another thing we like about it. So we're not taking up a bunch of space like when we go out to places, to parks, to beaches, to wherever, because sometimes it gets hard to find a spot. And if we had some, like I said, Class A or like a fifth wheel or a motor home or whatever, it definitely wouldn't fit in a normal parking spot. So yeah, so we're glad it's small. Another reason is we wanted a four-season camper. We wanted it to be leak-proof because we live in Minnesota. We get winter here. It gets intense. And we don't want snow piling up on top and leaking, or in the summer when it rains for days at a time. We don't want leaks because that'll lead to mold and a bunch of other problems that we have dealt with other campers that we've had. So yeah, four-season camper, truck camper. So it came down to like a Northern Lite or an Arctic Fox. And there might have been one other kind we were thinking of, but maybe I don't remember off the top of my head. There's ones called Lance, but I don't think those are four-season. Unless they are. But so it came down to like Arctic Fox campers or Northern Lite campers, and we picked a Northern Lite because Arctic Foxes are like really heavy, and our truck is a 250, and he did beef it up. We got like bags in there, and he did stuff to the suspension, which I don't know anything about all that technical stuff. But so the Northern Lites are lighter than the Arctic Foxes. If we had an Arctic Fox, we'd have to have some sort of a truck with a dually, or yeah, or a bigger, like 1 ton even. I don't know exactly, but so the Northern Lite works for the kind of truck we have. And we just got the truck, you know, like 3 months before we moved into this Northern Lite camper. So, but we didn't know back then that we were gonna have this type of camper. So that's kind of why we're not just gonna trade in the truck now for a different truck. So we just got the camper that would work for our truck, Northern Lite. And another reason we wanted a Northern Lite is because this model we have, the 9.6, it doesn't have slide outs. We didn't want slide outs because that goes again to the whole, ooh, there's a tick on me. Ooh. Go over there, buddy. That goes back to the whole, we don't really want to be seen and we don't want to draw attentions, because if we're parked anywhere and we're trying to live in it or trying to cook or do whatever, sleep, you'd probably have to have the slide outs out in order to get around and do stuff. So we didn't want to look like, oh, we're just sprawling out, you know, taking over the place, making ourselves at home. We wanted to like just look like it's a topper on the back of a truck. So that's another reason we got the Northern Lite. Another reason we love our Northern Lite is because we have 2 solar panels up on top, and I don't know all the technical stuff behind what kind of solar panels they are. I'll have to ask my husband and do another video about all that. And 2 batteries, so we get a pretty good charge, especially on a day like this. If you can see, like, yeah, pretty much mostly sunny. We're totally good for today. Even in the winter time when it was 100% cloudy all day, we'd still pretty much get by with just enough. If we were starting to watch like TV at night or something, you might end up using all of the battery, but just don't turn off the TV. Don't do that kind of stuff. And if you really had to use some power, if you really had to like watch TV or like use any of the juice, like with turn any of the fans on or keep the lights on, we could always plug in the generator that we have and run it off that and plug the camper into that. And we also use the generator for our blender, and I think we've used our microwave like once to reheat something, but yeah, we don't really use the microwave for anything but storage. But yeah, so those are the main reasons we got the Northern Lite. I totally love it. I hope I can have this for a long time. Like, I was just talking to John, like, once Alma's all grown up or whatever, or maybe somewhere in between, we'll move into a house, and then once we're like older, like 40s, we could always move back into this, and it would be the perfect space for just me and John too, once no more kids or whatever going on. But yeah, I just love it. Even with Alma, it's just perfect amount of space. Everything works awesome. I don't know how people can just live in huge houses and still think they're small, or you know, people who live in a 500 square foot house or a 1,000 square foot house thinking it's small, there's not enough room for stuff. I could never do that camper. I just have too much stuff. We'll get rid of it. So much freedom when you just get rid of everything. Like, I hate stuff. So we love our Northern Lite camper, 9.6. I hope this helped you if you're looking into buying a camper for vacationing or for living in full time. Thanks for watching it. See ya.